In our recruitment, the judiciary has always ensured a representation of the face of Kenya. In our contracts, we have given directions to contractors to use local labor and materials as much as possible. Governors must watch against new marginalization within their own counties and ensure that all communities are represented. As chairman of the National Council on the Administration of Justice, I'm proud of the commitment that NCAJ agencies have exhibited in supporting devolution. During the second NCAJ and COG annual conference held in March, we signed a working document on comprehensive collaboration framework between the Council of Governors and the National Council for the Administration of Justice on the administration of justice within the context of devolution. It is the official reference point in our engagements, and the NCAJ agencies have expressed support for this mechanism that will help eliminate any points of friction or misunderstanding. Friends, in brief, this is the judiciary scorecard on devolution, and I'm very proud of it. I hope the record can be improved and bettered, and it cannot be if county governments are beset by corruption. And as we approach elections next year, we owe the country a democratic, peaceful, fair, and credible context. In the judiciary, we have already appointed a working committee headed by one of our solid judges, Justice David Maraga, to lead judicial preparations. And I would urge you to engage with them. Now, governors, deputy governors, all senators who might be here, MCAs and MPs and members of parliament, I want to conclude by wearing the elder's hat. Today I'm feeling my age, and my long experience in Kenya's public struggles and service grants me certain licenses. We need to recognize, all of us, that history has bestowed upon us an extremely important responsibility of transitioning the country from a centralized to a devolved system of government. Devolution is the constitutional device that Kenyans created to cure inequality, underdevelopment, marginalization, and exclusion. We are all custodians of this dream and this transition. How we manage its fragility and threats to ensure that it succeeds will be the true test of our leadership. And there is neither a large margin of error nor opportunity to fail. Devolution is a stability factor in Kenya. And besides the statesmanship of Honorable Raila Odinga to accept the Supreme Court decision on the presidential petition in 2013, even when he strongly disagreed with it, the promise of devolution under the new constitution was the second biggest contributor to a peaceful transition in 2013. Commit yourself to its success as a unifying and empowering government device where every Kenyan feels part of this nation in equal measure. Abraham Lincoln is ranked as the greatest president in the US, not so much because of the railways or bridges he built, but because of the unity he forged and saved the US from disintegration. We remember Kibaki not by the high economic rates he and Raila presiding over, but because of the new constitution they helped birth. In my view, I think the country will assess our tenure and on how well we have done on devolution front, and these annual conferences and our attendances is important signal. I urge the President and the governors to elevate the profile of the summit and let it capture the imagination of the nation and the governors must help in this regard. Given this is my last Devolution Conference before I leave office in 2 months' time, I want to thank the people of Kenya, the President and the governors for the support they have given me during my tenure as Chief Justice, and I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Justice. We also would like to thank you very much and the judiciary for being a strong defender of devolution. At this juncture, I would wish to ask Honorable Speaker Ekwe Eturo, Speaker of the Senate, to come and make his remarks.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. The Prime Minister of Namibia, the ministers from Ethiopia and Burundi, and our own Minister for Devolution, my good friend Kiunjiri, and this being your first Devolution Conference, we would like to specially congratulate you and welcome you to the Devolution family. The Chairman of the Council of Governors, who is also our host governor for this particular event, the Honorable Governor Peter Munya. The Chairman of the Devolution Conference Steering Committee is also the Vice Chair of this Council of Governors, Governor Salim Vuria. Honorable distinguished senators, honorable distinguished governors, right honorable speakers and members of the County Assembly present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Muga, now that we are in Meru County. When I was a young man, I visited Meru and I used to hear them talk about Mugeni. I wondered, how did they know I was a visitor? I am pleased to join this distinguished gathering in this scenic and beautiful county of Meru to attend and participate in our 3rd annual Devolution Conference. I am in a very awkward position speaking after Elder Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court. In fact, if you can just adapt the concluding remarks where he was wearing the hat of the elder, I think we are done. But since I have a job to do also, and I'm a major stakeholder, I will proceed with my remarks. First, I want to thank the organizing committee for taking the trouble of ensuring that some of our distinguished visitors from the rest of Africa are the people that are gracing this particular occasion. And I want to say the Prime Minister did something that is hardly done in Africa. When she was Minister for Finance in Namibia, she actually balanced the budget, and the budget was in positive. You know most of us, and especially talking to county governments. To my friend, the Minister for Ethiopia, who also happened to have been a former speaker, I've managed in our neighboring country a system of devolution that has factored a lot on issues of marginalization and minorities. And our neighbor from Burundi, and I had the opportunity to represent the parliamentary delegation in terms of looking at the issues of conflict management in Burundi, just to see what are some of these issues that make a country stable and governable. And I think the Chief Justice has already mentioned some of them, and a good friend from UNDP says that what we're actually engaged here is not just an exercise in academics. This is a matter of life and death. This is a matter of developing our communities. This is a matter of every Kenyan feeling part and parcel of our great republic. So I am glad that we have in the neighborhood, within the continent, people that can form the human data bank in which you can learn a lot from our experience, taking into account that ours has just been only but 3 years of devolution. So the third Devolution Annual Conference follows up the first and the second, and comes as a time when we are looking at celebrating devolution. At a time when Transition Authority is over, CIC is gone, and so it's one of those critical turning points where we should be able now to say, this particular conference needs to consider where we have come from and where we would wish to go post-transition period. The captains of the devolution train are gathered here today, and I believe this is an opportunity for us to reflect exactly on how we want to proceed. This conference also comes at a time when we have challenges in terms of leadership, in terms of how we manage and create an inclusive process. I think all of us in devolution must honor the historical burden that thrust us to office and see what we can do to make sure that we actually reduce the conflicts, we reduce the differences, and we make devolution do better than may be expected. I know we have done a lot. Most people wonder how Kenyans can perform so well in just a span of 3 years. Indeed, if you think we don't perform miracles, just consider the rugby sevens team and the Harambee Starlets. I have been vindicated because I am one Kenyan who believes we are possible. It is possible. We can do it, and we keep doing it. Why not managing our own counties? That should be the easiest of all of them. We must therefore have the audacity and to congratulate ourselves as a country for taking a bold step by adopting the Constitution. The new Constitution has been refined as one of the best you can ever get. And one of those defining moments of that Constitution is the system of the devolved government. Today, we can say without any fear of contradiction that devolution has fundamentally realized in a broad sense, not only guaranteed, but ensured that our 47 counties have significantly enhanced their human and capital resource base for development in just a period of 3 to 4 years, created diverse and massive opportunities for collaboration and partnership, hence expanding the opportunities for investment, established an appreciation and created the need for working together, thereby strengthening mutual and beneficial relationship between our two levels of government. We do appreciate that changes are never easy. And so for me, whatever challenges we are confronted with as a family of devolved governments, we should just take them as work in progress. You should never be discouraged. You should never give hope, because if you give hope, where do you expect this country to go? As you are aware, the Transition Authority was primarily established to oversee the seamless transfer of devolved functions. It has endeavored to do so successfully, and the expiry of its term, 90% of the functions specified in the fourth schedule have been transferred. However, there are still a number of technical assessment processes and critical functions that are yet to be finalized or devolved fully, or that have been partially devolved. We still have concerns about resources following functions, and as I said again, that is work in progress, which should all be able to follow. While the Senate can claim to be the guardian angel of devolution, I want to submit to you, this cannot be performed alone. We need to create an inclusive process where the county governments, both the county executive and county assemblies, the national government in terms of national executive, and the national parliament through the Senate can find a nexus in which you can be able to deliver this promise to Kenyans. It is not our personal business. It's the duty we have for the nation. As I conclude, I am therefore proud to be associated with devolution, which to me is our own novel democratic process that has been acclaimed to be part of good governance. It is a game changer and perhaps the only effective way to mount inclusive developments of our counties, to the extent some of the counties that never used to think they were part of Kenya can proudly say so. But I would also want to wear the elder's hat. I hope there are enough to sambasa around. Devolution and many things in our country face the challenge of leadership. I want to call upon all the leaders in the devolution family. This is the time to come together and work for devolution. Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher, aptly captured this idea. Says, as for the best leaders, the people do not notice their existence. The next best, the people honor and praise. The next, after the next best, the people fear. And the next after the next, the people hate. When the best leaders' work is done, you want your people to say, we did it ourselves. That is the spirit we should embrace. God bless devolution. God bless Kenya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. It's now my humble pleasure to ask the Chair of the Council of Governors, His Excellency Peter Munya, to make his remarks and also recognize the key members of the devolution family. Karibu, Chairman.
May I start by recognizing all the distinguished guests, both the international and national, who are with us in this conference. This morning, we are honored by your presence here. And may I, as the Governor of Meru, also welcome you all to Meru. We call Meru the United, Prosperous, Green Mondo County. That is our vision of Meru. Meru has very welcoming, good people, very hospitable. There are many places you would want to visit when you are off free time of the conference. The Meru National Park is like 60 kilometers from here. It's one of the most pristine. The last bush frontier left, very few visitors. I'm sure you'll be very happy if you went to Meru National Park. There is a Mount Kenya National Park right here, not far from here, from this forest, up the mountain. The Mount Kenya National Park starts. We also have the Lewa Conservancy, which is part of the UNESCO heritage together with the Mount Kenya National Park. That's another place you would want to visit when you are around Meru, and of course, the beautiful towns of Meru. Before I make my remarks, I wanted also to take this opportunity to recognize all the delegations that have been able to come to this conference. Of course, we have the Prime Minister of Namibia, who is our main guest today, Excellency the Right Honorable Dr. Sarah Kugogelwa Amandla. We have Madame Jean Kagayo, the Minister from Burundi. We have also the Honorable Kasa Tekle, the Minister in charge of Federal Affairs from Ethiopia, who have already spoken to you. I want also to recognize the delegation from Slovakia, ended by the Ambassador of Slovakia to Kenya, Francesca. I am not very good at pronouncing the names. You need to stand up to get acknowledgement and applause from the delegation can stand up to get acknowledgement from the delegates. Of course, we have all the governors who have been able to arrive by now, and I would want all of them to stand up so that the audience can recognize them. From this end, we have the governor of do we go into that? Okay, thank you. Those are the governors representing the counties of Kenya. If I say sovereign, I may be accused of something, but actually sovereignty is exercised at both levels of government, and therefore the Constitution says so. So the sovereign counties of the Republic of Kenya. We have the deputy governors also kindly stand up for acknowledgement from the audience and the delegates. Thank you very much. We have the representative of embassies and missions kindly, and development partners. Just you can stand up just for the audience to recognize you from wherever you are. Give them a cheer. We have representatives of, sorry I forgot, but the senators who may have already arrived. Of course, the speaker is already here, ably representing them. If there are any senators who may be in the audience, kindly also stand up. Can you give them a cheer for being here in the conference in the Devolution family? And I can see two very distinguished ladies. We have representatives of the county assemblies, a National Assembly first. If there is members of the National Assembly, kindly. I'm not doing it in any order of any protocol. I'm just introducing National Assembly. Those who are here, the Member of Parliament for Tigania West, thank you for being in this conference, Honorable Karedi. County assemblies, before the county assemblies, the speakers from the county assemblies who are here. Let's have the speakers of the county assemblies. Thank you. Thank you. The members of the county assemblies, kindly receive them. You can see it's overwhelming. They are the majority members of the legislative arm of the county governments of Kenya. We have representatives of national agencies who are here kindly also. You can stand up. With many agencies, we may not be able to. National agencies, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Public service boards from county assemblies, from county governments, if you are here also, just acknowledge cheers. Thank you very much. The members of the county governments, executive arm, the CECs, and the CEOs, the directors, kindly also stand up for acknowledgements. The members of the Assembly's public service also, with their clerks and all the other, kindly also stand up for acknowledgement. Thank you very much. May I then, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I welcome you all to the third Devolution Conference, aptly themed The Promise of Devolution, consolidating the gains after transition, and looking into the future. The conference is aimed at celebrating the milestones achieved during the 3-year transition to a devolved system of government, identifying the challenges with a view to collectively addressing them, and looking into the future with a determination to make the promise of devolution work for the long-term stability, cohesiveness, and economic prosperity of our country. For devolution is the cornerstone of the social contract entered into between the sovereign people of Kenya in their diversity and their governments in 2010 to settle 50 years of socio-political disharmony, inequality, and marginalization, and either two failed attempts at economic takeoff. Indeed, His Excellency the President very well captured this underlying theme of social contract in our governance structure in his recent address to the National Parliament. Devolution has been equated to a second independence for our country. Rightly so, because as enshrined in Article 174 of the Constitution, devolution aims at equitable sharing of national and local resources throughout Kenya, empowering communities to manage their own affairs and further their development, protection of interests and rights of minorities and or marginalized, enhancing participation of the people in decision-making, and facilitating effective service delivery. These aims are all geared towards addressing the fault lines that have hindered, that have bedeviled our nation in our history since independence. And therefore, looking at the centrality of devolution in our constitutional architecture, any undermining of devolution, therefore, anybody deliberately undermining devolution is actually undermining the Constitution, and his acts or omissions can be termed as treasonable and subversive. Because when you undermine the Constitution, you are undermining the very existence of our republic. So and I think that is the context within which we need to be looking at devolution. And we are not talking about individuals, we are looking at the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, passed by the people of Kenya, that entrenched the devolved system of government. As we celebrate 3 years into devolution, we cannot fail to recognize the remarkable strides the pioneer county governments are made in service delivery, despite very many challenges. And I will just give a few examples. And these examples I want to say from the very beginning that it is taken from the 2014-2015 report, so it's outdated statistics. If we pick the statistics now, you will be surprised at what speed the county governments have moved in delivering services to the people. If you go across the country, you will find a lot of effort has been made in providing water to the people, water and sanitation to the people of this country. And if you look at the drier regions where provision of water was a nightmare, you will find that a lot of progress has been made in providing water. And if you look at, for example, Isiolo County, just one example of the water project they have done, because they have done very many. They launched the Garbatula sub-county project that is benefiting 6,000 residents, and in an area where women previously walked 30 kilometers to access water. This is just one example of the many attempts at providing water in Isiolo County. Look at Makueni County. Many dams have been built. There is the Kaiti Dam. There are other dams that have been built and completed. And there are other smaller dams that provide 50,000 cubic meters in each of the 30 wards. Again, this is one example of the project. This is not the only project Makueni has done in building water, providing water, and in their 2016-2017 budget, they are planning to build 84 similar dams in Makueni, a very dry county that has had very serious challenges of water during the centralized system of government. One example in here where we are in Meru, just one example project we are doing, we have already completed 90 tanks of 225,000 cubic meters of water in all the wards, and we are increasing and doing many other things. Those are just a few examples. Again, that is not the only thing we have done in water. If you go to infrastructure, again, 2014, 2015, collectively counties improved over 7,000 kilometers of roads, and in the current financial year, more than those kilometers are being done. We have repairs of some of the dilapidated tarmac roads that many counties in the towns have been able to repair. New tarmac roads that have come up in areas where people have never seen tarmac. In fact, I'm told in Wajir and in Samburu, people come as tourists in town to see how tarmac looks like. Adoption of new technology to build cheaper roads that has been done in Embu, the Probis technology in Samburu, and in Samburu and Embu. Again, just a few examples. If you go to education, transformation is taking place in the ECD, providing learner-friendly centers for early childhood education in all the counties. And just an example, Kwale has constructed 200 ECD classrooms. And this financial year, they are again building another 120 classrooms for ECD learners. And providing the learning instruments that are required for ECD. You go to Garissa County, 130 fully equipped modern ECD centers, where more than 170 ECD assistants have been built. And I can confirm all the counties, I think all the counties, they have all employed teachers, ECD teachers, to teach for ECD. Before, those teachers, I don't know what salaries were receiving. Parents were struggling to pay them. It was very difficult. So there is that transformation taking place in the education sector that is devolved. If you go to the polytechnics, modern workshops in all the counties have been built. Teachers have also been employed. Bursaries to retain learners who could not access those polytechnics is being done in all counties. These are just but examples. Coming to the health sector. In 2014, 2016 financial year. These are the statistics for that year. Growth of dispensaries. Dispensaries grew by 21%. 21% in the 2014-2015 financial year. Health centers by 15%. Hospitals by 12%. And if you give just examples of what has been done in some of the counties, Marsabit, that year alone bought 21 ambulances that are serving far-flung areas to make people reach hospitals in the biggest county in the country called Marsabit. One of the most modern hospitals is nearing completion in Trans Nzoia, the Trans Nzoia Referral Hospital, that is aimed at serving 1 million people in that region. Many maternity wings have been built in many health centers. I really can't give you examples here. Nyandarua, for example, put up a 60-bed maternity wing at Ginangop Sub-District Hospital. And I know many counties in many health centers where this maternity capacity is being expanded, and that's why you can see the free maternity program succeeding. It's not just the national government that is contributing to the free maternity program. In fact, a lot of costs are borne by the county governments. If you look at the compensation that we are supposed to be given by the national government to take care of maternity services, it is a fraction of the cost that is required to maintain free maternity program. If you look at the increase in human resource